Principles Show daily podcast by and for you.
All right, so welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
And today we're going to be looking at this fascinating report from the BRICS joint website. And it's about this team of Iranian researchers who have managed to create high-performance lithium-selenium batteries from plastic waste.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So this story has huge implications, I think, for a lot of different areas.
Yeah.
Sustainability, renewable energy, and even geopolitics. So
Absolutely.
let's just dive right in.
Yeah.
So I think we're all pretty familiar with the global plastic problem at this point, right?
Definitely.
Mountains and mountains of the stuff piling up, ending up in landfills, oceans.
Yeah.
It feels impossible to manage.
It's a massive challenge. Yeah. Current recycling methods just aren't enough.
Right.
The scale of it is just overwhelming.
Dang, that's what makes this research so interesting.
Yeah.
These Iranian researchers have found a way to actually use that plastic waste, turning it into something valuable.
Interesting.
Not just like downcycling it, into a lesser form, but actually upgrading it.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is that they're using selenium, which we don't normally think of as being associated with plastic waste.
Right.
But it has huge potential for batteries.
Yeah. The key here is that they aren't just repurposing the plastic.
Right.
They're combining it with selenium to create a whole new type of battery.
Okay, so how do they actually do this? I'm picturing like a mad scientist lab with bubbling concoctions.
Okay.
But I'm sure it's much more sophisticated than that.
Well, you're not far off.
Okay.
There is some serious chemistry involved.
Yeah.
They use a two-step process.
Okay.
So first, they carbonize the plastic.
Okay.
So what that means is they heat it up in a controlled environment without oxygen to break it down into a pure form of carbon.
Gotcha.
Then they activate this carbon,
Okay.
making it more porous, almost like a sponge. And this is where they introduce the selenium,
Right.
carefully encapsulating it within that fine-grained carbon derived from the plastic.
So it's not just like melting it all together.
No.
There's some real precision involved here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The selenium is crucial because it has a high capacity for storing and releasing electrons.
Okay.
You can think of it like a bigger bucket for electrical energy.
Gotcha.
That's what gives the battery its power and performance.
I'm starting to get the picture now.
Good.
But let's talk specifics.
Yeah.
The article mentions that they did some tests on these batteries.
Right.
What kind of performance are we talking here?
So the results are really quite promising.
Okay.
They found that batteries created from plastic activated at 600 degrees Celsius.
Okay, so that's a very specific temperature.
Yes.
There must be a reason for that.
Exactly.
Okay.
It seems that that's the sweet spot for creating the optimal structure within the battery.
Okay.
At this temperature, the batteries demonstrated a high discharge capacity.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't battery experts,
Yeah.
what does that actually mean?
Simply put, it means they can hold a lot of charge.
Okay.
Much like a large fuel tank allows a car to travel farther.
So that's good news for things like electric cars then,
Precisely.
where range is a big concern.
Yes, but that's not all.
Okay.
The tests also show that these batteries have rapid charging capabilities,
Ooh, now we're talking.
significantly faster than what we're used to with standard lithium-ion batteries.
So no more waiting hours and hours for your phone or car to charge.
Right, exactly.
This is good stuff.
And here's the real kicker.
Okay.
These lithium-selenium batteries also demonstrated enhanced long-term stability.
Okay, break that down for me. What does that mean practically?
It means they can go through many, many charge and discharge cycles without degrading,
Okay.
like a rechargeable battery that lasts much longer before it needs to be replaced.
So less e-waste.
Exactly, which is a huge advantage in terms of both cost effectiveness and reducing that electronic waste.
So we've got high capacity, fast charging, and long lifespan. It sounds like we've got the trifecta of battery awesomeness here.
It certainly ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, and it's all achieved using something that we normally consider waste.
I know, it's
A
incredible.
pretty innovative approach to sustainability.
It really challenges our perceptions of what's possible.
It really does. And I'm really interested to hear more about the broader implications of this research, but we're going to have to move on to that, the next part.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
It really does make you think differently about things.
Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit here and look at the bigger picture.
Sure.
So where does this research fit in with everything else that's going on in battery technology right now?
Right.
It feels like every day there's a new announcement about a battery breakthrough.
Yeah, it's a hot field.
So where do these lithium-selenium batteries stand in all of that?
Yeah.
Are they like a potential front runner, or is it still early days?
I'd say it's fair to say it's early days.
Okay.
But they show a lot of promise.
Okay.
I mean, we've talked about the high capacity.
Yeah.
That's a huge advantage, particularly for electric vehicles.
Right.
Where drivers want to go further on a single charge.
Yeah. Range anxiety is a real thing. No one wants to be stranded with a dead battery.
No, absolutely not.
What about those rapid charging capabilities?
Yeah.
How do they compare to, like, the lithium-ion batteries that we're all used to?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Because lithium-selenium batteries have the potential to charge much faster than lithium-ion batteries.
Okay.
It comes down to the chemistry.
Yeah.
Selenium, by its nature, allows ions to move more quickly within the battery.
Okay.
So it facilitates faster energy transfer.
Sure. Are we talking like minutes instead of hours for a full charge?
Potentially, yes.
Wow.
More research is needed, of course, to really optimize the charging speeds.
Yeah.
But the early results are very encouraging.
That would be amazing.
And let's not forget about that enhanced long-term stability.
Right.
Yeah, fewer battery replacements, less waste, lower costs over time.
It's like a win-win-win.
It is, yeah.
So it sounds really great, but I know that, every technology has its challenges.
Of course, yeah.
What are some of the hurdles that researchers still need to overcome with these lithium-selenium batteries?
One of the main challenges is scalability.
Okay.
It's one thing to create a working prototype in the lab,
Right.
but it's quite another to mass produce these batteries efficiently and cost effectively to actually meet global demand.
It's like the difference between, baking a cake at home and running a commercial bakery.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, totally different.
And then there's the infrastructure needed.
Okay.
We're talking about a whole new system for collecting, sorting, and processing plastic waste.
Right.
Specifically for this purpose.
Yeah.
That requires investment,
Yeah.
collaboration between different industries, probably some government support as well.
It sounds like a pretty big logistical puzzle, but one that's worth solving.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, given the potential benefits.
Yeah, definitely. And there's also the public perception.
Oh, right.
People are used to recycling plastic into things like bottles or clothing.
Right.
But the idea of it powering our devices,
Yeah.
that might take some getting used to.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Like some concerns about safety, reliability, even just like a yuck factor.
Exactly.
Like that was once trash and now it's, running my phone or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, I see that.
So education is key. We need to clearly communicate the benefits and safety of this technology to really gain widespread acceptance.
And that's what we're doing right here.
Well, there you go.
On this deep dive, informing and engaging with our awesome listeners.
Absolutely.
But this research really does raise some big questions, I think, about where we're headed as a society.
Yeah.
Like, we're seeing these kinds of innovations popping up everywhere.
Renewable energy, green building materials, lab-grown meat.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What does all this tell us about the future?
To me, it signals a shift in mindset.
Okay.
We're starting to realize that the old ways of doing things, the take, make, waste model, it's just not sustainable.
Yeah.
We're looking for solutions that are both beneficial and responsible for both people and the planet.
It's like we're finally waking up to the fact that we can't just keep taking from the earth without giving back.
Exactly. And this research is a shining example of that.
Yeah.
It's about using ingenuity and science to create a world where prosperity and sustainability go hand in hand.
I love that.
It gives me hope for the future.
Me too. But as you said, there's still a lot of work to be done.
Of course.
It's not just about celebrating these breakthroughs. It's about actually taking action.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We all have a role to play, whether it's supporting research, advocating for change, or even just making more conscious choices in our own lives. Okay, so as we wrap up this part of our exploration into this incredible research, I want to leave our listeners with a bit of a challenge.
Okay.
Look around you, look at your world with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
What do you see that's considered waste that could be reimagined? What opportunities for positive change are maybe just waiting to be discovered?
That's a great point. The world is full of possibilities.
Yeah.
Never underestimate the power of your own curiosity and creativity to spark meaningful change.
Absolutely. And on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Into the amazing world of turning trash into treasure.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating.
We'll be back soon with more exciting deep dives. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep making a difference.
Yeah, scalability is a big one.
Okay, so how do we get from, like,
right,
a lab experiment that works to actually mass producing these things?
Well, it takes a lot.
Yeah.
Refining manufacturing processes, making sure the quality is consistent.
Right.
And, of course, keeping costs down.
Yeah, because if it's too expensive, then no one's going to...
Exactly. Exactly. It has to be commercially viable.
Okay, and then what about, like, the infrastructure that's needed to support all of this?
Well, that's another huge piece of the puzzle.
Oh,
We're talking about setting up a whole new system for collecting, sorting, and processing plastic waste.
Yeah.
Just for this specific purpose.
Okay.
It's a big undertaking.
Yeah, it sounds like...
It requires a lot of investment.
Yeah.
Collaboration between industries. Probably some government incentives as well.
So it's like a whole societal shift almost.
It really is.
That needs to happen to support this.
Yeah, it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about the whole ecosystem around it.
Okay. And what about, just people's perceptions of this?
Right. That's another important factor.
Yeah.
People are used to, recycling plastic into bottles.
Yeah, like fleece jackets or...
Exactly. But the idea of it powering our phones and cars.
Right. Yeah.
That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, I could see people being a little hesitant about that.
Absolutely. There might be concerns about safety, reliability, even just a yuck factor.
Yeah, like that was trash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So public education is going to be really important.
I was going to say, so that's where, like, communication comes in.
Absolutely.
And making sure people understand the technology.
Exactly. We need to be transparent.
Yeah.
Explain the process clearly.
Right, and highlight those benefits.
Exactly.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a lot to consider here.
There is.
But I think this research really does point to a bigger trend.
I agree.
That we're seeing, which is this movement towards a more sustainable future.
Absolutely.
Like we're seeing it with renewable energy, green building materials, even things like lab-grown meat.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Like everywhere you look, there's this shift happening.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time to be alive.
It is. So what do you think all this means for the future?
Well, I think it shows that we're finally starting to get serious about addressing some of the big challenges facing humanity. Climate change, resource depletion, pollution.
Right.
We're realizing that the old ways of doing things just aren't sustainable.
The take-make-waste model is on its way out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're starting to embrace a more circular economy.
Okay. And just to remind our listeners, what does that actually mean?
So in a circular economy, we try to keep resources in use for as long as possible.
Right.
We close the loop, so to speak.
So instead of things ending up in a landfill, we're finding ways to reuse them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this research is a perfect example of that.
It is. It really is.
We're taking something that we used to consider waste.
Yeah.
And we're turning it into a valuable resource.
And it's not just about, like, reducing waste.
Yes.
It's also about creating a more resilient supply chain. Right. Like we're less reliant on mining new materials.
Absolutely.
Which often comes with a whole host of environmental and social problems. So it's like a win-win on multiple levels.
It really is.
It's pretty amazing.
It is.
So it sounds like there are some really exciting possibilities here.
There are.
But also a lot of challenges to overcome.
Of course, there always are.
But I think that's what makes it so interesting, right? It's like a big, complex puzzle that we're all trying to solve together.
And that's what makes it so exciting.
Okay, so as we wrap up this incredible deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
Look around you, look at your world, and ask yourself, what else can we reimagine?
That's a great question.
What else can we turn from trash into treasure?
I love that.
And on that note, thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
For this deep dive into the amazing world of turning trash into treasure.
Absolutely.
We'll be back soon with more exciting deep dives. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep making a difference.